Okay, I am back and I'm conducting a bit of a learning slash experiment. So this is being recorded on my Canon M50 Mark II on a vintage lens. This is the Canon FD 28mm 2.8.
What Dingus doesn't know and what he's going to yammer about is that the 2.28 millimeter, what does that mean? Well, it's actually, you multiply that by 1.6 because of the crop factor of this small form factor camera. So really that's 44 something millimeters. So it's not really 28 millimeter, it's 44 something. So each one of these lenses, you multiply by 1.6 to get the actual length. So we'll talk about that later.
It's a bunch of gobbledygook. It just means that it's, I think, a prime lens. So it's a fixed focal length. And what I'm trying to do tonight is I'm trying to figure out of my new lenses, how it shoots. Now I like this lens pretty well. I've got a light over here. I've got my monitor over here. I like this lens pretty well. Now it's a manual lens, so it means it doesn't autofocus. So if I come in, it's going to be, so its focus is fixed, but because of the aperture of 2.8, I do have some leeway in the distance. Now I am standing about 3 feet and a bit away from the lens, so this is I think going to be a comfortable distance from the camera to explain and talk when I'm doing my workshop videos. Now I'm going to try 3 other lenses tonight. Now these are not vintage lenses, these are new lenses, from 2 from Sigma, 1 from Canon. So this is the Sigma 16mm. This is an f1.4, so pretty wide open. This is a what they call the YouTubers lens. So it's very, very popular on YouTube for YouTubers. So when I'm sitting at my desk, it's a really tight shot on me from the shoulders up. This you can see is a good, I think a good shot from the sort of the midriff right here up. I stand up straight. I'm pretty good in frame over here and over here. So again, I'm about 3 feet away, and I'm also going to be trying my brand new 30mm from Sigma. This is from the 16mm from Sigma, the 30mm from Sigma, and I've also got a Pancake Lens. Look at that. That is a 22mm. Now I've had this one for a while. This has been on my camera most of the time, and all of these newer lenses are autofocus. So we'll see how they perform and how they would work for filming videos in my workshop, which is where we are. So next we are going to try the 22mm. All right, stay with me. Okay, now I am back, standing in the general position I was before, and you can see there's a lot more of the background around me now, and I am definitely much more, I don't know how to describe it, there's a lot more of the background in play here.
Again, Ding Dong here doesn't understand that you multiply the form factor by 1.6. So what does that mean? A 22mm is 35mm or 34.6, whatever. I'm not good at math. Anyway, the 35mm form factor is really great. That's why the 22 looks so good on this camera, is because it's a great 35mm, which is as I understand it, a good all-around distance.
So this is a little more wide angle, I guess would be the term. I'm still learning all of this. I pretend like I know what I'm doing. I don't. 90% of the time I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm learning by doing, which is the only way I do learn. So I've got my DAT mic up, I've got my light, and this is sort of a general setup just for general filming here in my workshop. Okay, so quick note, I actually filmed this same sequence before, and I had the camera set to slow-mo, so none of the footage was usable. So again, I'm still learning this camera, learning these lenses, and so now I'm going to switch to the 16mm. Now I only use the 16mm Sigma at my desk when I'm doing YouTube videos with my friend John, or if I'm just streaming, but we're going to try this as a lens here in the shop. See how it looks. Okay, we are back, and wow, that's a big difference. You can see there's even more here. Now you can actually see my hands when I spread my arms out. I've got the eye tracking on, and I noticed that the tracking doesn't really kick in until I'm right about there. And then I seem to be in the distance though. Right here, I'm in focus, and then I can't tap. No, it's still got my face. Still got a target on my face, so it must still pick me up as a human. But this is a good shot, maybe if I'm demonstrating something larger, or maybe demonstrating a large piece. I had a piece like right here. I don't really do large pieces, but I mean, you never know. So this is a good one. All right, so next we're going to try the Sigma 30 millimeter. Now, so this is the 16 millimeter 1.4 from Sigma. The next is going to be another Sigma lens, 30 millimeter 1.4. Okay, try that. Okay, now this is the 30 millimeter, and I gotta tell you, this looks very similar to the Canon 28 millimeter, except the focus is a lot sharper, and it autofocuses. And I can't even hear it autofocusing. Let me try this. I'm gonna try bringing this up. Wow, that's pretty good. That's really good. Me, object, me, object. It's pretty good. I can hold it up like that. I don't know, that's pretty nice. That's very handy. Okay, this is the Sigma 30 millimeter 1.4. Now, all of these lenses were not cheap except for this one, which was 80 bucks off eBay. But I do like the sort of feel of this lens. It's also very light. So but this lens, this 22 millimeter, is a great lens just to throw in the camera if I don't know which lens to use. But I'm still trying to figure out what lens to use. And this 30 millimeter looks pretty good. So between this and the 16 and the 22, it seems like I've got it covered. So I'm gonna stop filming now, take the footage back into my office, and see how it looks. So there you have it. 4 of my camera lenses for review. And I gotta tell you, this is recording on my typical setup that John and I do for Get Off My Pitch, our soccer podcast for Nashville Soccer. And I am on the Canon M50 Mark II with the 16 millimeter Sigma lens, 1.4. All the Sigma lenses are 1.4. Like I say, they are really nice. The vintage lens, as you know, in the retrospect, when I've watched that footage over a few times, and the vintage lens would be nice if I were behind the camera. And Patrick Tommaso talks about this on his channel. Hopefully I'll try to link it down below, that, you know, if you're behind the lens, it's great to have one of those manual focus, you know, camera lenses that's vintage or whatever. But if you're in front of the lens trying to do this, it just doesn't work. And I see exactly what he's talking about now. So I'm going to wrap it up here. And this was just a quick lens test to kind of also fill in some content with some exploratory and learning stuff. So I appreciate you sticking with me. Stay tuned for another video. Hopefully, again, I'll be starting a new project now that my desk setup is done, the office is clean, and I'll start, sort of executing on some of my ideas. I got a nice backlog. So stick with me. Thanks.